thanks again to everyone for joining us for our now fourth webinar of the Wakefield Bounce Back Week. This webinar itself is about productivity and business growth. The entire business Bounce Back Week is all about how we are looking for ways to draw on our community, draw on our local network, and allow for some great economic bounce back from what we've seen over the past year. Things have been tough for businesses and individuals over the past year, but there's been ways that certain companies have found strength, resilience and resolve in the way that they've worked. Some businesses have needed a little bit more support than others. Some businesses have just started out in the pandemic, which is amazing to see. We've seen the hugest uprising in homepreneurs, people who work from home as an entrepreneur. And we've got an amazing panel here of people who can really help you out when it comes to if you're starting out, if you're running your own business already, and if you just need general advice with your business. So we're going to go straight into our panel. We've got Claire Eckers, she runs Adesse, if I said that right. We've got Jenny Morgan, she's from Action Coach, and we've got Ellen Wood from Newport Land and Law Limited. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of these guys' talks. They've all got some super interesting tactical advice for everyone on the call. We're then going to finish off with a Q&A session. Like I said, please do make sure to put anything in the chat that you'd like to comment on, put anything in the Q&A function that you would like me to ask the panel at the end. And I'll make sure to pose that to our speakers. But without any further ado from my side, Claire, I'll hand over to you if you like. Please give us an introduction to who you are, what you do, and what you'd like to present to us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Georgia. And I am very, very pleased to be here. Now, the moment of truth, let me just check I can share my screen and get my presentation up. So just bear with me a sec. Georgia, I can just see you in the screen. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Okay, marvelous. Okay, so I'll start off with an intro, as Georgia said. So just the few little bits that I'm going to be covering today. So I'm going to be talking about why all leadership starts with self-leadership. I am going to be talking about why you should be sacking your client, and I have created a little takeaway for you, which is a little PDF, a downloadable workbook on 9 steps to productivity and flow. And I think we're going to stick the link for that at the end in there if you would like to check that out. So who am I? My name is Claire Eckers, as you can see on the screen in front of you, and I am a leadership and performance coach. And I work with high achieving, values-led leaders and entrepreneurs to help them reach their next level of business, whatever that means to them, basically. I have been coaching professionally since 2007, but I guess the thing that I wanted to mention is that I have spent the last year, 18 months, working with CEOs and directors and leaders of high growth, high impact businesses, basically to provide them with a safe space to go, so that they can gather their thoughts, work out what they are doing, and then go out and present a cohesive plan to their teams and to their employees and to their clients and customers. So whatever challenges you have faced over the last year and a half, you are not alone, I guess, is the first message I wanted to come across with. I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur myself. I have founded and grown 2 six-figure businesses so far. First one was I'm the founder of Adesse, which it was a technology recruitment company, and I founded that on maternity leave in 2015 from a shed quarters in my back garden, which was an excellent commute. I am married with 3 children, and I am co-director with my husband, which I'm not sure I would necessarily recommend as a business strategy, but he came in and left his big corporate job and came to work with me or for me. We never quite figured out the hierarchy. But anyway, that's the 2 of us, and we're now Adesse partners and live in North Leeds. And I am a huge fan of the Leeds business ecosystem. specifically the networking and the tribe that it provides. I'm also chair of Lean in Leeds, which is a 900 strong networking group, as well as founding and growing 4 other networks. So big fan of the community and the networking. Just a couple of highlights I wanted to a few photos just to illustrate how passionate I am about entrepreneurship, and some of the things that I have personally done to build my business and my brand that have really worked for me. And if we are here talking about business pipeline and business development and how to generate sales, then here in these pictures are some things of the best things that I have ever done personally to grow my businesses and my brand. So in no particular order, building and growing networks. So top right, that is me running a conference, speaking on the stage there for Lean in Leeds. And then bottom right, that is a tech leaders report, which it was filming interviews with technology leaders and then producing it into a report, which was a cracking business development tool. Then off the back of that, I got invited onto the BBC's Red Sofa. I managed to get myself on the BBC expert speakers list somehow. And every so often I get a call to go on Think Money or Five Live or something like that to give an expert opinion. And that's been really good in terms of building my brand. And then bottom left is my podcast. I've got 2 podcasts. Audacity and another one, an old one called The Authentic Recruiter. And building and launching a podcast is a brilliant way to build your brand and as a business development tool. And then top left is just the shed quarters where all the magic happened. So that is a really whistle-stop tour on those business development techniques. But if you're interested in any of those, you got questions, then ask questions at the end or drop me a line and I'll be happy to tell you a bit more about how I did any of those. Okay, so the first point that I wanted to talk about today is all leadership starts with self-leadership. And the model on the left is my aligned action pyramid. And I use this with all my clients. And it works on the principle that success is 20% strategy, but 80% mindset. And you can have all the models and the strategies and the hacks and the tools and techniques in the world that you want. But if your mindset isn't right, then the results that you get will be very limited at best. And it all starts with passion. And it all starts with you as a leader. And I would recommend going through this exercise I'm about to share with you for yourself, and then do it for your business, and then do it for your staff, and then do it for your clients or customers. And if something ever goes wrong for you in your business, come back to this model and work out where on this pyramid it's gone wrong. And then if you start from there, it's easy to course correct. So very briefly, at the bottom, you have vision. So if you get your vision right, and you always come back to this, you will never go wrong in your business. So your vision is your 30, 60, 90-day plan. It is your vision beyond the vision. What happens when you hit your original goals? What happens then? What impact you want to have on yourself, on your family, on your community, on the world? Get that vision right and keep coming back to your why, and you will never go wrong. That is the foundation, and everything stems from there. And then you'll see the second layer is your values. And your values, what I call authenticity, is all about knowing who you are and what you stand for, and then having the courage to live that every day. And again, work out your values for yourself, work out your values for your business, and then work out what that means in terms of behaviors and actions, how you live those values. And then the next layer after that is your beliefs. So your beliefs need to be in alignment. They need to be congruent with your vision and your values. Otherwise, the whole thing will fall down. If you have a belief that is not in alignment with all those other things, your actions are going to fail. So let me think of an example. So if, for example, you think that sales is sleazy, but your vision and your values rely on you making those sales, but you think sales is sleazy, it ain't going to happen, and you are never going to reach the levels of success that you dream of. And then you will see that very top of the pyramid is action. An action is deliberately small because if you have the bottom 3 layers right, then the action is very easy to come up with. The strategy is just the tip of the iceberg. It's easy to come up with actions that are in alignment with the other 3 layers. And if you have the top layer and that's all right, then and something goes wrong, if you take the wrong action, it is very easy to course correct unless you have as long as you have the other 3 layers stacked up. Hopefully that makes sense. Drop me a note if there are any questions on that. So the second point I wanted to make was sack your clients. So what I mean by this, I see a lot of big mistakes with people who are working with clients and customers, and it doesn't matter how long you've been in business for this one. The big mistakes that I see are working with clients or customers who don't value you, or they don't value you or the service that you provide, or clients are using the pandemic to either work with you on rubbish terms or drive down prices. They're using the pandemic as an excuse to not value you, essentially. Or it might be you feeling like you're being selfish or greedy, or that you should be grateful for any work that you can get right now because there's a pandemic on, that it's greedy or selfish to strive for more. But what I want to say to you, and the message that I want to give to you, is that actually now is an absolutely brilliant time to shake things up, to do things differently, to do an audit of your clients and to sack the ones that don't align with your vision and your values. Honestly, I believe that we have got a massive opportunity at this stage in time to do things differently. You are here. It's been a tough year, but you are still here, whether you're just starting out in business or you've been doing it years. And that to me means that you are here to do things differently, to have an impact, and because you want to make a difference, really, and that your voice is important. And what I am seeing, what I am really, really looking forward to, is the rise of the passion economy. The what phrase did you use before, Georgia? The homepreneurs. Businesses and entrepreneurs born out of a desire to do things differently, to grow authentic, change-making businesses who aren't just all about the cash, but are about making a difference and having an impact and really doing something they are passionate about. Yes, absolutely, make a ton of cash and be incredibly successful, but it is not all about the bottom line. And that's the kind of entrepreneurs that I love to work with. And when I do that, honestly, magic absolutely happens. So my invitation to you is to spend some time thinking about who it is that you really, really want to work with, about who you are and what you stand for. Do all the exercise I just mentioned in the aligned action pyramid, and then work out what kind of clients or customers you are really, truly passionate about working with. And the ones that you connect with at a heart and at a gut level, who you don't mind taking calls from at 9 o'clock at night because they absolutely light you up, who work to your terms because they absolutely value the service that you provide and your business, and sack all the ones who don't make you feel like that. And don't worry about them, because they will be the perfect clients for somebody else. And when you choose to only work with your dream clients or customers, that's when the magic starts to happen for you. Your work will light you up. So going to work and growing your business doesn't feel like work. Every talk that you do, or social post that you make, or newsletter that you write, where you are really clear on your values and who you are speaking to, will connect with those people at that heart and gut level, and you will make money, lots more money because of it, because they will resonate with it. And this has worked absolutely brilliantly for loads of my clients. They've stopped working with bad clients, and yes, there was sometimes a bit of a revenue dip while they got rid of them. But what it did do is create space for those ideal clients to come to them. And guess what? They have doubled and even tripled their revenue by being really, really clear on the people they want to work with. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's mainly all that I want to cover today. I have talked about the business generating activities that have worked for me. I've talked about the importance of self-leadership first. And I've talked about why you should sack your clients and only work with the people that set you on fire. And the last thing I want to mention is productivity. I've created a workbook, which is the 9 steps to productivity and flow, which is the exact steps that I do every day. Honestly, this is the God's honest truth. This is what I do in order to have maximum productivity and flow. Basically, you on a really, really good day, but every day. And the link is there, or I can post it in the chat. It's totally free. It's my gift to you, hopefully to help you grow your business. And thank you for listening. It has been a pleasure. And that's where to find me if you want to.
Thanks, Claire. Really great start to the event. Really good energy and clearly passion from your side as well. So always welcome that from you. I think one of the themes that has gone through a lot of the events that we've done has been about looking at, how the dichotomy of mindset and how some people during the pandemic have sort of looked at themselves and thought, how can I look after myself and look after what I'm doing? And then there's the other people who thought, oh, I've got a whole raft of clients who need to be looked after. How can I create value for them instead of just thinking about yourself? And I think that doing that sort of cleaning of house now, and just being like, okay, what actually did happen? Who was there for me? And not just necessarily with your clients, but even your network, and pulling out, just pulling away from those people or those situations or even clients, as you say, that suck the life out of you and make things not fun anymore, and just sort of clearing those entities from your own energy can obviously make such a difference. And the back to your why is also something that's come out as a massive theme throughout everything, particularly with our survival and resilience event this morning. A lot of people were saying, I go back to my why when it comes to ensuring that we remain resilient and true to our aims, always coming back to that. So I really appreciate your comments already on this session. We're going to go straight in with Jenny. So she's already got slides up there. There's a chat, there's a message here from Minnie Blossom. Claire, if you're able to add that link into the chat, that would be great. You wouldn't have been able to click that through from the slides there. So if you're able to just put that in the chat, that'd be great. And I'll hand it over to you, please, Jenny.
Perfect, thank you very much. So this next 10 minutes or so is about what do you need to do to really grow your business. So quick overview, we're going to have an introduction, and then we're going to focus in business growth, so accelerating your business, pivoting post-COVID, and mindset. So mindset's already come up a lot today by the sounds of it. It's going to come up again at the end of this session. And the offer for anybody on the call today is to book a free one-to-one coaching session. We do this a lot with businesses to provide some initial support in. Sometimes it results in them coming on board as coaching clients. Sometimes it's just about giving you that little bit of help that's going to move you forward. So if there's something that resonates in what I talk about today that you want to take further, put your free coaching session in there. It's all about helping you to move forward with your business, whether that's growing it, getting your head in the right place around it, freeing up your time, or getting your team working effectively if you've got your team there already. So very brief introduction to me. My name is Jenny Morgan. I own and lead business coach for Action Coaching Wakefield. My objective when I work with people is all about how to help you get what you want from your business, because I'm really passionate about helping the people that I work with succeed. So ultimately it's about what do you want so we can get you on that right journey and move you along with that. And I work with business owners from startup through to multi-million-pound turnover. So whatever size and scale your business is, there's definitely stuff in there that we can help you with if that's what you need some help and support around. So today I'm going to talk about accelerating your business. And I'm going to start with this really simple formula. So this is our formula for life success, ties in really well with what Claire was talking about a couple of minutes ago as well. But our formula is be times do equals have. And this links really nicely into the mindset piece that Claire was talking about, and also some of that stuff around the vision, the beliefs, and the values. Because what we want to do is start with the have. What is it you want to have from your business? Okay, and if you know what you want to have, so whether that's time, it's money, it's freedom, it's how you want to feel emotionally about your business. if you can get down on paper all those things you want to have, you've got that clear destination, you know where you're aiming to get to, the vision, as Claire spoke about earlier. Then what we can think about is, what do you need to do to get there? And I'll come on to a few ideas around that in a minute. But what do you really need to do to get there? And then finally, who do you need to be to take you to that place? So what beliefs and behaviours do you need to have to get you where you want to be? And that's a real thing about mindset, as Claire's already touched on. So we'll come back to that as well. So if we think about what you need to do, what are the activities? Well, when I was speaking to people about setting this webinar up, they said, what about pivoting post-COVID? So lots of people went into COVID doing one thing, the world's changed, it looks different. They've maybe changed during it, maybe they've been off on furlough, they're coming back. So actually, for me, this starts with understanding. So what's changed in your market? What's happened for your customers? What's happened for your competitors? How have people been getting your service or your product during COVID? Will that continue? So you think about a lot of restaurants, lots of restaurants have pivoted to deliver takeaways and do delivery. So are they planning to continue to do that? Will people continue to eat more of those, or can everybody not wait to get back out and actually sit somewhere different and look at a different set of four walls? So how have people been getting it, and is that going to carry on? What's changed for you personally during COVID? Maybe you've changed where your passion sits. Maybe your vision's a bit different than it was. So what's changed for you? What's your current business position? So where are you at, particularly financially, but also with your team? What's happened for them? If you've got a team there, if they've been off on furlough, if they've worked all the way through, are they feeling really rested, having spent 12 months at home on furlough, and are ready and raring to come back? Or has their life changed and their goals changed? Or actually, if they worked all the way through and everybody's feeling a bit exhausted at the minute and looking at all the people that have been off on furlough and going, oh my gosh, I wish I was one of them. But what we want you to do is start by understanding that, really ask some questions, review what it's telling you. Because then if you go back to what you want to have from your business, what your vision is, then you can start to look at that and go, okay, so if this is where I am today, these are all the things that have changed, and this is where I want to get to. What are those simple steps and actions I need to do to get there? And then you can really build out that plan about how to achieve it. So in terms of what you might want to put in that plan, a couple of different ideas for you. So we run with a model called our 6 Steps to Massive Results. The reason this is in here is to give you an idea of what some of the steps you might want to work on are. So our first step when we're working with business is to look at mastery. How do we eliminate chaos? Making sure you've got a clear vision so you know where you're going. Making sure that you understand how to deliver for your customers, which might have changed with all the changes that have gone on in COVID. Making sure you've got a grip of your numbers and you understand your finances. So we're making sure we're doing the right things. And then finally, that you've got a grip on your time and where it's going. Because one of the things about businesses is they can soak up huge numbers of hours of your time. And you want to think about in your hat how much time you want to have in the business and how much time you want to have for doing other things so we can get your time in the right place. You might want to think about what we call niche, which is sales and marketing. How do we grow? Really aimed at getting predictable cash flow in there and driving that growth. And then from there, we might want to look at leverage or systems and efficiency. So how do you make your business work really well for you, which ultimately frees up your time and will result in you making more money? And if you've got a team or you're going to need to put a team in, then who are the right people sat in the right seats? Do they share your vision and your passion for where that business is growing? So how do you structure that in order to take your team with you on the journey and to really focus in on leadership and management of that team so that they can help you with the growth as well? And then ultimately that becomes about having something that runs like a well-oiled machine, which then takes you to the point of you being able to see those real results. And this is the point where actually if you own that business, you could potentially take a passive income, you could go back and do the role you really enjoyed, but you've been doing everything else. So you can go back and focus on what you loved in the first place. Or you might even sell your business, and typically it'll sell for 4 or 5 times the amount when we've got all these different layers in place. Because they're not just buying a client list or buying you, what they're buying is a business that works in its own right. So real top level summary of some of the things that you might want to do in your business in order to get the growth and the results. The second thing you might want to think about, and this focuses in on that sales and marketing line we were just talking about, is our 5 ways. So when we think about how do you get more customers, how do you get more sales, and how do you get more profit, actually what we know is that there's 5 levers that you can pull on in there. So in order to get more customers, well, we either need more leads in at the top, or we need to improve our conversion rate to be able to deliver more of those as customers. Okay, so we want to focus in on those 2 areas. In an ideal world, we want to work on both. When we've got those customers, we want to think about, well, how many transactions do they do with you in a year on average? How could you increase that? Are there other services you can add in there, or other products, or other layers to what you do that pulls them back more often? And then what's the average sales value of what you do? How can you maximize each transaction you do with those clients, which gives us our net sales, so the total revenue coming into business. And then our fifth and final lever is our gross profit margin. So actually out of that net sales, how much profit are we making as a business and how can we improve that? So to show you that really, really quickly with some numbers in, if you took a business where they had 4,000 leads, 25% conversion, you'd have 1,000 customers. 2 transactions per year, £100 per average sale gives you a £200,000 turnover business. With a profit margin at 25%, would give you a £50,000 profit. What we know is if we work on all of those 5 levers, then we can start to pull, okay, well, actually just a 10% increase, so a relatively small increase in each area by focusing in can drive some huge changes. So those numbers flow like this. So if we go 10% up, we go 4,000 to 4,400, 25 to 27.5%, up 24% in customer terms. Similar story when we're looking at our average transactions and sales value, moves us up 46% when we're talking about total revenue. And if we can improve our gross profit margin by 10%, then we're up to just over £80,000. Okay. What it means is that we're growing by 46% at turnover level and a massive 61% in terms of gross profit. And it's all coming from relatively small changes we're making just to get that 10% increase in each of those areas. Okay. So going back to my formula, that's what we need to do. Now let's focus on the big. So our mindset is critical in this. So let's think about our beliefs. So who do you need to be? And ultimately, and this ties in really well with what Claire was talking about earlier on, is that if we want to get the results, all of these things that you can see on screen now layer together. So our identity, how we see ourselves, our values, our beliefs, what we hold to be true, the things that are really going to help us move forward, and our skills all influence the behaviors and the way we are then, the decisions we make, and ultimately the actions that we then need to take, which are going to generate the results. So one of the things we want to focus in on is understanding these different levels and going, okay, to get the results we want, where do we need to change things in here? So it very much aligns with the pyramid that Claire was talking about earlier on, which is great. Final point for you, fear. So one of the things that holds us back when we think about who we need to be is often fear. Okay, and people fear all sorts of things. So it might be fear of failure. It could be fear of success. It might be fear of looking really silly. It might be fear of being laughed at. Might be fear of coming to do a webinar and forgetting what you're going to be talking about. All sorts of things that you might be afraid of. What's really interesting is when we think about what fear is about false expectations appearing real. It's the bit of our brain that plays out to us. What is the worst case scenario that could go on here? I could come on this webinar and I could absolutely forget everything I was going to talk about and you're all going to laugh at me. Okay, false expectation appearing real because I'm here on the webinar, I've remembered what I'm talking about. I don't think you're laughing, although I can't hear you, so maybe you are. Okay, but ultimately, what's happening with fear is those false expectations feel true. And fear is an emotion, so it feels true. It doesn't matter that it's not there in reality. Okay, so we need to think about how to overcome it. So 3 different techniques for you, just as a really quick thing that might help. The first one, just do it. Yeah, or JFDI. So yes, I'm scared, but I can get on with it. I can do it, and I can see what the results are going to be. And this often comes back from our beliefs. So we want to override the self-talk. What's going on in our head is we've got a little voice going, you can't do this. You're not very good at that. And you want to override that with the positive messages. 3 to 1 is ideal. 3 positive messages. So I am great at presenting. I am going to be fantastic on this webinar. I am going to share something that's valuable for people. It's a much better story to be telling yourself to then go in and deliver against the thing. If that doesn't do it for you, so that's our simplest level, our second step in overcoming fear is focus on your why. Why are you doing it? Why is it really important to you? Go back to that vision and the purpose of what you're doing. And fill a page. Write as many things as you can on an A4 sheet of paper about why you need to do the thing that's scaring you. It really will help you overcome it. And there's a lot of psychology that underpins that. I'm not going to go into now. But there are some great stories. And then the third one is to take it step by step. So yes, fear is an emotion. It's not a logical thing. But actually, one of the best ways of overcoming it is to treat it logically. So if you've ever seen anybody frozen by panic or by fear or something, what's the easiest way of getting them to move forward? So I've been that person. I was on a ski slope. I was skiing a blue run in my comfort zone, quite happy, until I got to the point where the blue run went that way and the black run went that way and the blue run was shut. and I didn't have a choice but to go down the black run. And I don't ski black runs. They're too narrow, too icy, too steep. I don't like them. I probably can technically get down them, but I really don't like them. Cue a meltdown in the middle of the mountains, which eventually resulted in one of the piste professionals coming to rescue me and then saying, right, what you're going to do is follow me down this black run. You're going to turn where I turn. I'll talk to you all the way down. I'll show you what you need to do. We'll pick out the pieces that are not icy. And ultimately what that person did was they broke it down into tiny, tiny, tiny steps for me. So all I needed to do was concentrate on keeping my skis going in the right direction and then making that one turn. I didn't even need to think about the fact that there was another mile to go to get to the lift station and getting out of there. I just had to focus on that one next step and then the next one and the next one. So one of the best ways of overcoming fear is to be able to go, actually, what are the little tiny, tiny, tiny steps we can take to move us in the right direction, and then take each one of those to overcome our fear. So what we've been through, well, what do we want to have? What do we need to do to get to our have? And ultimately, who do we need to be to get there? Okay. So in terms of next steps, hopefully there's been some learning points or some points that have resonated with everybody. Make note of them. Best way of remembering everything, whether it's my talk, Claire's talk, Ellen's talk, doesn't matter, but make the notes of the things that you've learned coming out of this. That offers there with a free one-to-one coaching session. Please take us up on it. It'll either be with me or with one of the team. Wakefield@actioncoach.co.uk. Drop us an email, tell us you're on the webinar, and we'll get you booked in, and bring your learning points and the things that have resonated with you. Okay. And if you feel like doing it, please leave me a Google review. It's one of the things that I'm working on from a marketing point of view at the minute, is how do we get those up there. So yeah, if you feel like doing it, then that would be great. And that's me done, Georgia.
Great, and you didn't forget what you were going to be talking about or anything?
Nope.
No, I really appreciate that, Jenny. I love the skiing story. I think that Claire wrote that she loved that as well. It's always nice to have a nice sort of story to really conceptualize something. I also really like the point about going back to what you like doing in your business, to getting to a point where you actually have people to do all of the crap stuff that you don't like doing. And you get, even if that's an aim in itself, isn't it? Just to be at a place where you're just like, I can go in every day and do all the fun stuff because I've worked myself to a place where I deserve to do that every day. And you know, it happens with me where I make decisions to do some of the job. I mean, I do loads of jobs that I don't like still, because I'm only, you know, 4 years into running my company. But when I go to sort of initial client meetings and I go into persona sessions and I go into like really, you know, heavy strategy stuff, clients are kind of like, you know, you've got a strategist and you've got branding people, like, why are you in this session? You're not. And I'm just, because I just really love doing this stuff, and I'm never not going to love doing like marketing strategy stuff. So I know there's the, you know, the old saying of work on the business, not in the business, but there's always going to be things that I love doing, and I'm never going to give them up just because the saying says so. So yeah, really, really good points there. And the fear thing as well, loads of points came up this morning about fear of failure, and that failure is by no means something that you should be afraid of or even try to avoid. It's something that is absolutely intrinsic to your journey as a business person, and something that you can learn from and teach others from as well. So
often where we get the biggest learnings from as well.
Yeah.
Overcoming the fear and the things that don't quite go as we planned, but are great to look back on and go, what have we learned from that? Let's take that with us into the next thing.
And the best thing you can do is learn from it. The second best thing you can do is tell other people about it. And that was some of the other points that we had this morning about if you work, say, that's why communities like we do have in West Yorkshire are really, really important, because we're not afraid to tell people when we've fallen. We're not afraid to tell people how we worked it out, because we are just very, very open as a community, and that's how we're holding each other up. And that's why we're going to bounce back, is, you know, stronger than ever. So Ellen, I'm going to pass over to you.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for having me. I'm really pleased to be here, and I've really enjoyed listening to Claire and Jenny. I've learnt lots, but also there's some bits that feel a bit reassuring from a local business, thinking, oh, okay, you know, we do know a little bit of what we're doing, and hopefully some of it will tie into what I'm saying today. So my name is Ellen Wood, and I'm the practice director at Newport Land and Law Limited, which we're based in Wakefield, and we have a consultant model of a solicitor's firm. We deal with the law of property, so we work in residential and commercial conveyancing, and also trusts, wills and estates. My background, actually, although I now work in the law, my background is very broad and varied. I've worked in charities, education, public sector and governance. And so my role of practice director here at Newport Land Law is ultimately that of running the practice. I'm not a solicitor, but I deal in the practice, compliance, policies, procedures, administration and our communications, and also pretty much anything else that comes my way. We were set up 4 years ago, so I would still say we're a relatively young new company, and those of us directors of the company, as lots of people I'm sure will resonate with, that you end up doing lots of different things. You've got lots of different hats. The more established we get, hopefully we'll get the right people in the right roles, but right here and now we all do lots of different tasks and things within the business. So I've already said we set up 4 years ago in Wakefield by Anna and Clive Newport. So originally with 2 people, we've now got 15 members of the team at Newport Land Law, and I started just over 2 years ago. This year we secured funding for a PR campaign, which has had a significant impact on our profile, both nationally, but very much so within Yorkshire press as well. So the PR campaign itself, there was no getting away from the fact that it was very time intensive from our point of view of having content being available and being ready to share information and write articles. But I would say it's definitely worth it. The return that we've got from that campaign in recognition and awareness has been really, really significant. And we're thinking about doing something maybe once a year, but not quite as lengthy, because of the positive impact that we've seen on the business and the increased strength of brand that we've seen. So this webinar topic is around business growth and productivity. So what I thought I'd do is share with you some of our approaches at Newport Land Law that we believe have supported our growth over the last 4 years, but also over the last year. It's been challenging for everybody in different ways, and I'm hoping that some of this might be helpful to someone else out there. So we've really felt that we wanted to stay true to our values, even if that's meant saying no sometimes to collaborations with other businesses, turning some opportunities down, although I do talk about opportunities in a minute. We are okay with turning them down if they're not true to our values, and also saying no to clients, which made me smile when Claire talked about it, but we're only working with people that really understand and share the values that we have. On a technology point of view, we have in place technology that supports us to remote work remotely, which we already had in place anyway as part of the foundings of the business, is that we have high quality technology in place that means that we can work from anywhere. A lot of us work from home, but we do also have an office, which I'll talk about in a bit. So when the pandemic hit and a lot more working from home was in place, we were able to offer that seamless service to clients, in as much as all of the technology was there to be able to share information with them that we already had in place. One of our key approaches is our belief in high quality client care. We're really clear on what we can and what we can't provide to our clients. If we can't provide something, but we know someone who can, we will refer them on to others that are trusted service providers. We won't try and offer something that we know we can't do and we don't specialise in. And what that does is that means that our clients trust us to have their best interests at heart. And that's a real mutual relationship that has really supported our growth from the word go. Another approach is around flexibility. We're able to fix our own workload and hours, and we have the ability to work from anywhere, which links into technology. But we're very much about productivity rather than time served and presenteeism. People who are good at their job and are able to enjoy their job will work and do the work, and it's not necessarily about being available all of the time, as long as you set those expectations with everybody and everyone's clear about who works when and how to get hold of somebody. If you can't get hold of that person, that there's always somebody else for them to get hold of. So although we can all work from home, we do have a Wakefield based office, so that everybody, the solicitors, can meet with clients if they would like to meet them at the office. and or work from the office when they would like to. So people might like working at home on their own, getting lots of work done, but sometimes they might want to be surrounded by other people and that team feeling. So the office offers that to our team when they would like it. It's a very positive working environment and community that we have, and that we've actually moved to bigger offices recently to be able to fit everybody in if everybody wants to be in, and offer that service to clients. So another approach of ours is around nurturing our team. Genuinely, everybody looks out for each other, and we as a business actively promote self-care and well-being. The work-life balance for us isn't just a saying, it's really crucial that everybody has that balance so that they're able to do their best work, but also enjoy life, and to model self-care as an important part of being, being a professional in any environment. Because, well, I believe nobody gets an award for burning out or being tired all the time and being a slave to the business. I do think if you enjoy everything that you do, we all do better work anyway. And we're also really good at recognising when someone else in the team might need to slow down and offer support when needed. So one big thing I think has impacted, well, all of this has, but I do think this is a really key one and impacted our growth, is around opportunities. As long we are presented with opportunities all of the time, and wherever we feel that they stay true to our values, we happily look into opportunities. It might be that we look into it, have a discussion with somebody, and then we decide it's not for us. But we are really keen on considering opportunities that are provided to us. A couple of examples for you recently that have really worked out well for us is we were asked by a client if their daughter could come on work experience. She's a law student. Anybody who's ever worked with work experience, you can't get away from the fact that somebody is in learning with you, so it takes up a lot of your time. But we took up that opportunity. She's been with us since before Christmas, and it may well have been easier to say no initially, but it was a great opportunity for us because we've got a fantastically valued member of our team who hopefully will be able to develop their career with us, but works extremely hard while she works with us as well. Another recent opportunity that we've taken advantage of is the Kickstart scheme. So the government scheme for 16 to 24-year-olds, sorry if you know any of this, but it provides funding to businesses for a 16 to 24-year-old that's currently out of work on the Kickstart scheme for up to 25 hours a week work. So there was lots of hoop jumping being a government scheme, and there was lots of forms to fill in. But I would say that the opportunity is great for us and for the individual who we have a person starting on Monday with one of our Kickstart jobs, who we're hoping that it's a mutual opportunity, that they're going to be able to learn on the job with us, but also that we've got the opportunity of a local person coming to work with us who can, again, hopefully develop their career. And we may also look at the apprenticeship schemes for that person if they choose that they want to continue working with ourselves. With regards to writing as well, we've been offered lots of opportunities, and Anna Newport, one of our directors, was asked to write courses for the Law Society. She writes for trade magazines and blogs, and that's given us an opportunity from the business development point of view. And my last example for opportunities is obviously today, this afternoon. You know, I was approached about speaking here, and I see this as a great opportunity, not only to obviously talk about our business, but, you know, we're a Wakefield-based business who wants to see other fellow business people succeed. So I'm hoping that that will be a small part of that. My last kind of point around our approaches is looking at funding. So we funded the business ourselves from the ground up, and we haven't borrowed any money for the position we're in. It's a double-edged sword because it does mean that there's lots of decisions that either have to be delayed or items of spend that we can't do as quickly because we haven't got the larger amounts of funding there. But what it does mean is that we can have that greater influence over the direction of our business, particularly with regards to treatment of our team and clients. You know, myself and Anna and Clive are the directors of the business, and we're able to make those decisions with our core values and always have those true to heart. A little note about the future. some ways we want to look at resilience for ourselves for the future is looking at expanding our share of the market through further recruitment, so more solicitors, consultants working with us, and just that consistency in our client care. Word of mouth is our main referrer. That has helped us build the business to this point, and it's done us really well. We are looking at SEO content on our website, but I would say LinkedIn with values, looking after your clients, word of mouth is really what everybody strives for, really. So that's something we want to ensure we cultivate. And we are looking at geographical, say the word, expansion beyond Yorkshire of the model that we're currently creating now. I'm hoping that some of that's been of value, because I didn't want to have too much specific to, the fact that we're a solicitors firm. And I'm really happy to chat with anybody about anything afterwards if you'd like to as well. So I'm sure we're sharing contact details, because I haven't done a presentation, but that's me. Thank you.
That's perfect. Thanks, Ellen. If you want to add your email address to the chat here, that's fine. And if you want to let us know if you'd like us to add them to our roundup blog post as well, which will be on the site, we'll have contact details for Jenny, so you can get your free one-to-one. We'll have the download link on there as well from Claire and her amazing resource that she's put together as a gift to everyone for the Bounce Back Week as well. So just to go into a few questions for the panel. If anyone does have any comments or questions, please add them to the Q&A function. But I think that what I'd like to ask is maybe, I don't know if we're calling it post-pandemic already, but in the period of recovery, let's call it, what do you guys think would be a sort of easy win? What's a piece of, an action that people can just take away right now, like a really low-hanging piece of fruit that they can be like, okay, well, we did see a bit of a dip, and actually we are trying to come back swinging. We've got a great attitude, but what is like the one thing that you can say, get up tomorrow morning and do this, and you'll be on your way? Do you want to start, Claire? Other than downloading your amazing resource, you can't say that one again.
Well, in terms of pipeline and getting revenue in. Yeah,
just bouncing back a little if anyone's seen a bit of a dip in the last year.
Well, I think something that's always worked for me, and exactly as Jenny's done here, really, is offer something for free, with a view that your ideal clients will resonate with it and want to spend a lot with you and really invest because they connect with what you're offering. Mm-hmm. So I've done it recently, actually, offering free breakthrough sessions as a gift, and genuinely meaning it as a gift rather than as a business development strategy, but offering something of incredible value. And then when people see how good it is, they'll a percentage of them will want to invest with you.
And just making sure that it is genuinely coming across as like it is actually just completely free. We did something similar on the Halston marketing site, and it kind of came around because this time last year I felt like an absolute spare part, because my main role is to bring business into the company, and I assumed that a lot of people wouldn't feel like it was appropriate for me to be knocking on the door at that time. So I was just being that really annoying boss and just going around and trying to help people out in the team that didn't need my help, because they can all do their jobs completely fine without me. And what I decided to do was just go out and start speaking to people, because I felt like I wasn't networking anymore, and I felt, well, let's just do some collaborative content on our site, find out what people are doing, find out what interesting marketing stuff people are doing and how they've changed things. And that went all the way through the year, and just showing that element of interest with people and being like, what are you doing? It started off with our actual network and people that we know, and we were just showcasing them on our website, and then it turned into people who I'd never even met and been like, I just want to know what you've been up to. I've seen you do some really good stuff. And it's just, showing people that you're open to just collaborating and that you're just interested in what they're up to, for me is worked really, really well, just to ensure that I retain an ongoing growth of my network for one thing. Do you have anything to it? Sorry, Claire.
I was just going to say, yes, as long as it comes from a place of service and is genuinely meant, then the right people will hear it.
Because people can tell.
Yeah.
If it's disingenuous. Did you want to jump on that as well, Jenny, with any thoughts?
Yeah, I think kind of ties into what you were talking about, really, but my start point would be go talk to your existing client base. and find out what's going on in their world, particularly if you've got customers or clients who you've not heard from during the pandemic, or who stopped working with you or reduced what they were doing. Go and find out what's going on in their world. Because it now might be the right time to offer them something else, whether that's something for free or them stepping back into taking whatever your service is. But also it is that bit about, it's about relationships, isn't it? So let's understand where they're at and what's important to them and how we can best help them. And the knock-on impact is that will come back to you, whether that's because they need something else from you that's going to result in you seeing more income, or whether it's because they appreciate the phone call and then they recommend you to somebody else and you end up with a great new client out of it. But ultimately, you can build on those relationships. And the easiest place to start is your existing clients and look at who's out there, what's going on for them, and be genuinely interested in that rather than out there looking for the next business opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure that the people who have looked after their own clients as opposed to trying to see what else is out there during this are going to do better out of it. One of the things we did at Christmas time, because we just thought no one's going to be in the office, there's no point in sending out bottles of wine and all that crap that people don't really need. We did a marketing competitor analysis for all of our clients as a gift for Christmas, instead of a gift basket, which is so much more useful for them. Ellen, did you want to add your comments as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I agree with what everybody's said, and what kind of sprung to mind, something different from what you said, is maybe looking at your existing clients and anybody who hasn't provided you feedback that might help. So, you know, as a consumer, I know I'm a fan of things like Trustpilot, and your Google reviews are getting higher. So if somebody says you're great, you know, could you please put that in a public sphere so other people can see it as well? Because and everybody can help each other out. If you've experienced somebody's service and you keep meaning to provide them a review and you haven't, you know, maybe that's the request. You could say, look, everybody who hasn't got around to it yet, this would really help me. And to say a similar thing with providing something without any expectations. We've put together, at the moment we've done an ebook for purchasing property and an ebook for selling property. So it's meant to be a how-to guide to help you as a client feel completely understanding of the whole process. And that we've put them on our website, and we didn't want to put them behind an email wall or a paywall, because I didn't want anybody to feel they couldn't just look at it. So for us, that was another thing that we wanted to give to well, not just clients, but potential clients or anybody really, is they can go and read that and hopefully feel a bit more empowered about the process.
Yeah, that's really helpful. No one of that, you know, it's something that's always been enshrouded in mystery, isn't it? They've buying a house.
Yeah.
God,
Well,
this year was even worse, with the volatile of the market. Anyways, I won't go into that whole nightmare.
No, it's another one now.
Yeah, for sure. So I think if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to leave everyone with 5 minutes to spare. I do have a few things that I need to go through for the rest of Wakefield Bounce Back Week. So we do have loads and loads more great events coming up. I'm going to share the events link real quick in the chat for everyone to see what else we have coming up. We've got Access to Finance, which is an hour-long session tomorrow from 12:30. We've then got Business and Wellbeing, also tomorrow from 4 till 5. We then have a guest event from Eat Out Roundabout, that is also tomorrow from 4:30, and then we have Inspirational Growth Stories on Thursday from 12 till 1:30, Employability, Upskilling and Retraining from 3 till 4:30 on Thursday, and then we have Equality and Diversity in Business on Friday at 12. So loads and loads of things, loads more interesting panels, loads more resources, loads more ways that we can link together as a business community and look at ways of furthering our networks at a time when it's difficult to obviously meet and speak to new people. Loads more advice and resources as well. There's also the Wakefield Bounce Back Week awards. We have categories such as Community Spirit in Business Award, the Entrepreneurial Excellence Award, and the Wakefield Pivot with Purpose Award. So if you know of, or you are a business that would be relevant to any of those awards, please come to the site and sign yourself up for those. The only thing left to say then for the panel is thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your energy, for your time, for your great tactical advice. And just your candor as well. It's always great for people to just come and show just, you know, an authentic version of themselves, and you know, really share things that have happened to them, even if it's a skiing story. I think we've all been at the precipice of a black ski at some point, whether it be figurative or actually, like you were, Jenny. So I appreciate everyone's time today. Everyone who came in, as I said, this will be available to rewatch on our blog, and I'll let everyone go there. So to Claire, Ellen and Jenny, thanks so much for your time, and I'll speak to you soon.